Surprise! I was in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Hello, creative companion. I'm Kat Wild and here's my sketchbook for my travel around New Zealand. More specifically, 6 weeks on the North Island and 1 week on the South Island. I know, most people do it differently. Don't worry, someday I want to go back there and fill my gaps. But now to the sketchbook. Before, it is a small handy sketchbook, which I have mostly filled with watercolors and an ink pen. All sketches are done live. What I mean by this? I didn't use any art references for them. I was sitting outside and was sketching in public. My goal was to fill the book during the journey. At first, I was not in the mood to sit down and find the right spot, so I was a little more stressed toward the end. But I'm just going to tell you more as we travel through my sketchbook. So let's start. First, I arrived in Auckland. Surprisingly, I liked the first page. Mostly the first page is a very ugly one in sketchbooks, but the second and third pages were rubbish. I realized that I'm very bad in drawing landscapes. I should work on that. I want to work on that. At the beginning, I really was upset with my skills and about myself. I think that was also a reason why I didn't draw that much in the beginning. This is Bahia, in the north of the North Island. This sketch I made on a mountain near the Bay of Island on Russell Island. Fortunately, it wasn't windy. It made sketching easier. I was really worried at this place. A wrong move and I would never see my pencils or the sketchbook again. I do it all in about 10 minutes because it was very hot, the sun was very, very hot. And I think it's really not that bad for that. During this sketch, a Kiwi woman gave me some coffee. That was very kind. I was on a beach and just relaxing and making some sketches. Yes, my feet with blisters. I thought this was worthy to draw and I had to fill pages. Also a 10-minute sketch, because I had taken a boat tour and we only had an hour on the Puka Island. I think the name sounds like a spell. I love it. At least I walked around there but felt so stressed that I had another 50 minutes at the port. I decided to make a super fast sketch in that sketchbook. These time windows of shuttles are really not my thing. They stressed me totally. For 10 minutes, I guess, the drawing is okay. Washing my laundry, also a thing you have to do while traveling for a long time. Yeah, what I really can't paint and what made me super frustrated, stones and waterfalls. I really need to practice them. Now a super ugly sight. Anyway, I was rather frustrated at first because I wanted to make super beautiful, perfect drawings and everything I got there was just bad and ugly. So that was my subjective feeling at that time. I was under a lot of pressure at first. I also had to find my style, how I wanted to portray the objects I see. It's really gotten better over time, and now I also really love this sketchbook because it reminds me of the beautiful time in New Zealand. All the experiences I made and people I met, even if I didn't draw any people in the sketchbook. In fact, this is the double page where I first felt it is good. This is where I had the feeling of arriving in my sketchbook and to be able to draw and paint something. Rotorua. This image has become nothing, just a beautiful color palette. Sometimes such things happened. This was in Taupo doing a 20-kilometer hike. On the second picture I sat again on a mountain slope, not quite as extreme as in the other landscape in Russell, but on the way mountain bikers came by, not without danger if you sit there and sketch something. One had to smile when he saw me. Before I walked, of course nothing happened. This was a lovely spot with beautiful reflections. I really loved that. At the hostel, I bought myself some hot chocolate in a cafe. The weather that day was not sunny. So I just was relaxing a little bit in this cafe. But the people don't relax that long in cafes in New Zealand as you do it in Europe. So it's a little bit weird to sitting there for so long. View from the bus stop in Rotorua. One of the hanging bridges on a hiking trail in Turangi. I love these hanging bridges. They really wrapped up and felt just like adventure purely. Really, I love that. I love that to hike there. Again at another hostel, and a cute hostel cat. The Tongariro crossing. The drawing is really bad, but it was very, very, very windy and I was stressed because the shuttle would wait for me, actually only for me, and could not estimate how long I needed for the rest of the way. I really wish I had a car so I could spend more time drawing. When I know that I have to get some kind of vehicle at a certain time, it stressed me and I don't really feel like I have enough time for drawing, although that's not true. If I'm relaxed, I might need half an hour, depending on the time. But if you don't know how long and hard the road is, it's just more relaxing with your own car. This is the flower of the New Zealand flags. It was used by the Maori to manufacture textiles. I made the sketch during a break at a resort with the intercity bus. I'm in a parking lot. Yeah, normal people maybe don't make sketches in a parking lot, in a break with the intercity bus, I know. But that's the reason why you are watching this channel. We are arriving to Wellington, the capital of Aotearoa, New Zealand. When I was there, it wasn't as windy as I thought. To be precise, there was no wind at all the time. I do this. I've probably got a very wrong impression of Wellington because the nickname of the city is Windy Valley. In Wellington I have drawn relatively much because it's really good to draw there. There are a lot of sitting places where I felt comfortable and safe enough to draw something, and there are plenty of interesting objects. I have to admit that I found Wellington more drawing-able than Auckland. In Auckland there were mostly just rectangular office buildings, which are pretty boring to draw. Besides, I had to slowly really hurry up there in Wellington and draw more because my journey would soon be over. Nelson, South Island. I know, it's a jump. I was there only one afternoon and one night because otherwise the next bus would arrive in 3 days. If you want more details about my journey in New Zealand, then check out my Draw and Talk video about my experiences. Greymouth, lovely, lonely beaches. Arthur's Pass, on the way of Christchurch. Beautiful. Kaikoura, again, lovely, lonely beaches and seals. I've become a lot more confident and I didn't care about people doing sketching anymore at this time. I was sitting at the corner of the world by 2 seals. Stupidly enough, a couple of people had cut off the way to the water from one seal, who had not understood what the animal wanted. But fortunately, the conflict was resolved. It stressed me a little while I was drawing. At the same time, I was really surprised that these people did not see that they had blocked the animal's way to the water while they wanted to photograph it. It was so obvious. Sometimes I don't understand humans. Here, I finally met the blue of the sea. The water has such crisp colors there. It goes very strongly in a white turquoise direction, and even on days when the sky is only grey, the water is still a little turquoise. That's so crazy. Drawing a tent on the ferry that failed. But I think you have to learn that it's only natural to have bad drawings in a sketchbook. I'd like to stick them together, of course, but I don't want to. We live in a time when everything is being terribly optimized. At a time when you, and I too, are so stressed to get a perfect sketchbook. It is a sketchbook. It should be free of compulsion and simply capture spontaneous impression. Being back in Wellington, break in Palmerston North, New Plymouth. I love these thorn trees. I love them so much. I made so many photos of them that my friends were answering, "I think you like these trees." Oops. But yes. And I'm so sad that I didn't find them on any souvenir. I would buy that, really, honestly. Why? They are so nice. Mount Taranaki. There were so many tourists, and one of them also looked at me while I was drawing. I didn't care about it all. I just was drawing along. I would never see any of these people again and not recognize them again. At that point, I had finally developed a routine in drawing outdoors, and I didn't care what people were thinking about my drawings. The wish and the need to sketch was more important than thoughts of other people. That was very liberating. Another reason could be that I didn't have so much time left in New Zealand and I really had to sketch if I wanted to succeed this challenge. I would say at the end it was a thing of both. Hamilton, this day was crazy. Back in Auckland, last drawings on my last day. That's so sad and unbelievable. At the airport, yes, I wanted to finish the sketchbook and I had plenty of time until my flight started. And yes, I did it! And somehow I had the crazy thought, what if I had a sketchbook for every continent? Of course, with Antarctica it's a bit hard and I have to practice drawing snow first. But it would be somehow cool to say at the end of my life that I painted the whole world. And somehow I also got the desire to the way of my travel to paint the whole world. So, I have to define what I mean with the whole world, but having a sketchbook from every continent would be an example of the whole world, I would say. I learned so many new things and I would say this is a life project. Maybe you want to join my journey. But more about it in my Drawing Talk about my New Zealand trip, coming soon. Thank you for watching. Stay creative and I'll see you next time. Bye!